Hi everyone, I am Piyush. Today we'll write our first Java program, HelloWorld. I'll demonstrate it in both Eclipse and IntelliJ IDEA. If we talk about languages like JavaScript, we can write our code inside a JavaScript file and simply execute it. There is no skeleton code that is required. Let me switch to VS Code and I'll show you. So this is my simple Hello World program in my JavaScript. What I need to do is I'll simply have to type node and the name of the file that contains the JavaScript code, and see, I get this output as Hello World. It's that simple. But to run the same Hello World program in Java, we need a basic skeleton. We need a class, and inside the class we have to write our Java code. Don't worry if you're not familiar with the class concept. At the moment, just remember that we have to write our Java code inside the class. First things first, we need a place to write our code. Okay? If you haven't already downloaded and installed an integrated development environment or IDE, I recommend using IntelliJ IDEA or either Eclipse. You can watch my video on how to install both Eclipse and IntelliJ. I have also included the link of this video inside the description. Let's start with IntelliJ IDEA first. Now, once you have your IDE open, you'll want to create a new project. On IntelliJ, click on the new project button. Okay, this screen will be displayed. In your case, this screen might look a little different as these IDEs keep on evolving, but the basic concepts remain the same. We are going to create a Java project, so we'll let this option select by default. Okay, so this option, Java. Okay, now let's open the JDK dropdown, and if you can see, it has automatically detected the path of my Java JDK installation, this one. Okay, so in case you haven't installed Java before, I would highly recommend installing Java, and I've also included the link of this video as well inside the description. Now, IntelliJ also provides an option to download the JDK right from within, and we can use a specific version of Java in case we need. Here is this option, download JDK. However, we'll go with the JDK 21 as demonstrated in my last video. Let me close this dropdown. Now, in the location field, we provide the name of our project. Now, name means the folder name, and it will also act as the project name. You can even create this folder as a Git repository. But for now, we'll not check this option. If we check this option, it will also make this folder as a Git repository and will start tracking the changes you are making. Let me provide the file name as first Java project. First Java project. Okay. Now, it will be stored inside IDEA projects folder. Can you see this? This project is going to be stored inside IDEA projects folder. And I'll uncheck this option, add sample code. It is already unchecked. Okay. Now, what I'll need to do is I'll simply click on the create button. So our project is now created in this particular folder called IDEA projects. Can you see this? IDEA projects inside this first Java project is my folder. Okay. Let me go to IntelliJ IDEA again. All right. Now we'll create a new class. Let me zoom it out. Okay. What we can do is we can simply go to view, appearance. In your case, it might be zoomed out. So you can simply go to view, appearance, and then we have this option zoom ID. Right. So you can set the changes as per your liking and preference. Okay. In our case, let me just select it to 150%. Now select the source folder. What I need to do is I'll right click on it and create new Java class. And I see this option. So we'll see this particular dialog. Here we'll provide the class name. Let's give it a name as Hello World. Hello World. Okay. Now, all Java classes start with a capital letter as per the naming convention. So what I need to do is I'll simply hit the enter key from my keyboard, and this will create my first Java class. All right. Now we are in our first Java class. So time to write some code. Let me just expand it. Okay. So before that, can we see public and class? So these are reserved keywords also shown in orange color. We cannot change them. Next we have is Hello World, and it is the name of our class which we gave while creating the class. Now we need to add a main method inside our Java class. Okay, and don't worry if at this particular moment you don't know anything about the main method. We will dive deep into it in our later videos. All you have to focus on right now is to learn Java step by step, and not just watch the video but to practice along with me, and that's how you'll retain more. So if you're already liking this video and all set to crush your goals, hit the pause button and write down in the comments below, I commit to learn Java, and I would definitely reply back to your comments. Okay, let's move on. So I'll write my main method. So I'll click here and I'll press enter. Okay, so I'll type my main method, public static void main and I'll write string arg, string args. Okay, and I'll again type parenthesis. So this is my main method. So you see, when I first saw this particular code, I was like, what the heck is this? And today, here I am making a video on Java and have this mindset that Java is so simple. And if I can reach here, I'm sure you can too. So this is a basic skeleton, or we can say a boilerplate code. We need this code to run Java programs. Over here, we can see our class, and inside this class, we have a main method, and we should write the code inside the main method. Okay, let me write a simple print statement. So how do we write a print statement in Java? It's very simple again. We have to type system.out.println, and we can see it is so easy actually. We don't even have to type the complete full name also. Okay, and I'll type here hello world and make sure it is inside parentheses, these quotes. Okay, so this system.out.println statement is used to print some text into the IDE console. And if you are familiar with JavaScript, it's the same as console.log. And if you aren't familiar with JavaScript, just try to understand that using system.out.println statement, we can print anything to our IDE console. Okay, and yeah, the casing matters in JavaScript. Okay, so S is in caps, O is in small, and again P is also in small. And this is our first Hello World program which we can execute it. So to execute it, we can simply right click and select the option run the program. Okay, I'll click on this run my program, and we get this particular output as hello world. That's it. Okay, so whatever we typed inside system.out.println inside these double quotes, they are printed in the console, and this is the console. In Eclipse or even IntelliJ IDE, console is a view that displays the various types of output generated. Now let's break down this code and try to understand it deeply. So the first thing to note is that our actual code, which is system.out.println, is inside the class which is hello world. Okay, and it can be any name, and it should always start with a capital letter, which is H. Okay, now any Java code we want to write has to be placed inside the class, as it is one of the main principles of object-oriented programming, and Java is very strict about it. So Java is actually an object-oriented programming language, and any piece of code has to go inside the class. Now next thing we see in our code is this main. Let me double click on this main, and if you notice this, we have these parentheses, right? Okay, so we can say that main method is the start or entry point of any Java program, and whenever you run your program, the very first thing Java looks at is the main method, and whatever code is written inside this particular block, it simply goes and executes it. And it is mandatory to have a main method inside a Java program. And these braces, as I mentioned, is the body of the main method, and it has just one line inside. This is the only line that is inside the main method. Okay, and we can have as many lines of code inside of a main method, whatever we want. So system.out.println is one statement that is responsible for printing the text hello world to my console. Okay, and we can write anything inside the system.out.println and it will be printed. Let me type a second println statement. Okay, I'll simply type system.out.println. I'll type, let's say I am a beginner. Okay, now I'll run this program. This time I'll use this green button at the top to execute my Java program. Let me click it. Okay, it says run hello world.main. Okay, I click on it. Okay, I see this particular output. Let me just, okay, come here. Yeah, so this is my first line in the output, and this is the second line of my output. Okay, however, there's another method in Java which is called as print, not println. So let me write a third line, but at the top of these two lines. So I'll simply write system.out.print, and I'll write Java is simple, because Java is actually simple. Okay, and in case you haven't noticed, we don't have to save the code in IntelliJ, as it is saved automatically. And I'll type semicolon. Okay, now if I execute this program, you see the difference between print and println methods. Let me just simply execute it. Click here, again click here. Okay, so this is my output. Can you see? So using the print method, the output gets printed to the console, but as we can see, there's no enter or a new line that is added to the console. Okay, but in the case of println, whatever text you provided, it gets printed and a new line gets added. New line gets added here, okay, as if we have hit the enter key on our keyboard. So in our last two statements, since we are using println method, firstly it will type hello world and then it will type I am a beginner. Okay, now, and since there is nothing after this I am a beginner, it also prints a new line, but the program ends because there is nothing outside after this line. Okay, so also there's one thing to notice, and that is each and every line in Java has to end with a semicolon. Semicolon. Can you see this semicolon, and again this semicolon? Okay, so if you are coming from languages like JavaScript, it's not at all required there. See, I don't have a semicolon here, but this JavaScript code still works perfectly. But in the case of Java, it has to have a semicolon. Okay, so in order to run our Java program successfully, we need to make sure that there is no error and let the semicolon in. Okay, then we have these three keywords which are public, static, void, highlighted in orange color. Okay, we'll cover them later, don't worry. So we can also add comments to our program which will be ignored by the Java compiler. Let me add a simple comment. I'll click here, I'll simply type enter, and I use double forward slashes to type my comment. Okay, this is a comment which will be ignored by Java compiler. Okay, now why do we write these comments? It's just for documentation purpose and to make our code more readable. Now my requirement is to print a number, let's say 10. So we'll firstly store this number inside a variable, okay, and then we can use this variable to print our value which is 10. Let me type this value. Okay, so int a equal to 10. So notice that we are assigning this value 10 to my variable a. So whatever we have on the right hand side of equal to will be assigned to the variable which is on the left hand side of equal to. Also, as we discussed, each line has to end with a semicolon. Now what the heck is this int word? So it's a keyword, or we can say a reserved word used in Java. In fact, notice that the text in orange are all keywords: public, class, int, public, static, void. They are all keywords. Okay, so we'll get on to the keywords later. This int means that the number 10 is an integer and this variable a will only accept an integer and nothing else. Again, Java is very strict about it. Now if we want to print the value of this variable, we'll simply print it using system.out.println method. So let me write the statement: system.out.println, and this is the same variable that I've just declared here, this variable. Okay, and I'll have to end with a semicolon. Okay, now but we can see an error here. Can you see this line? So what I need to do is I'll simply bring my mouse over here and I can see this error. So, and yeah, don't worry, during your programming you'll also get a lot of errors like this, but we don't have to panic. We need to get good in coding so that we should be able to fix them with confidence and ease. Now IntelliJ is complaining that the variable is non-static and we are trying to print a non-static variable in our static main method. For now, let us simply fix the error by clicking on this make helloworld.aStatic, and we'll learn about static keyword in a later video. So I'll simply click here and my error is gone. So let's recreate the same hello world program in my Eclipse. Now on Mac, we can open any application through Spotlight. So my Eclipse is already open. Otherwise I could have simply typed command and space, and I can type Eclipse and simply press enter, and this will open my Eclipse. Okay, and yeah, I just love the experience Mac provides. Not only the experience, it is way faster than Windows, and yeah, I'm a Mac lover now. Okay, so not only the experience, it is quite faster. And if you are having Windows, so everything what we are doing in this video, you should be able to follow it with ease. So let me go to Eclipse now. So this is the first look of Eclipse. Okay, and this Eclipse workspace is the name of the Eclipse workspace that has been created by default, and it is a collection of projects. Means we can create multiple projects inside this Eclipse workspace. Okay, so to start, we'll simply create a new Java project. Let me click on File, click on this New, and I'll click on this New Java project. Okay, right. So I just see this particular option. Now we want to provide a project name. It can be anything. I'll call this project as Hello World Project. Okay. Now also, just like IntelliJ, we can see that Eclipse is also automatically detected by Java installation, which is JDK21. Okay, so I will also uncheck this option, create module.info.java, and I'll simply click on the finish button. Okay, so my project has just been created. Okay, right. So Eclipse, now what I'll recommend is, okay, so after we see this particular project, I'll simply go to Finder, I'll go to my home directory, and we can see this Eclipse workspace is there, and inside this workspace I can see this project that I've just created right now. Okay, let me just double click on it. It has two folders, okay, bin and source. Okay, I'll go back to Eclipse again. So the process is almost similar to how we did in IntelliJ. Okay, so I'll simply right click on this src folder, I'll click on new, I'll click on class, and I'll simply create my new Java class. So let me give a name as HelloWorld. Hello World. Okay, right. Remember that the first name is always in caps. So we will select this particular option, public static void main, which will automatically include the main method without having to type it manually. In the case of IntelliJ, we had to type it, but here we'll simply check this option. I'll click on this finish. So we can see this boilerplate code has automatically been generated. And this particular piece of code was generated. Why? Because I selected that particular option. All right. So what I'll do now, I will add the same code what I used in IntelliJ. So let me simply copy the code from IntelliJ. I'll come here. I'll simply copy. Okay, I'll go to Eclipse and I'll simply paste it here. And there was also int a equal to 10, my variable, that was also there. Okay, again, I'm also seeing this particular error again, what I also saw in my IntelliJ. Why? Because I'm actually using a non-static variable inside my static method. Again, don't worry about all this. So we'll simply remove this error by bringing my mouse here. Eclipse is showing me what I can need to do. I'll simply click on this change a to static and my error is gone. Okay, so this is my HelloWorld program in Eclipse, and unlike IntelliJ, we have to save our code after every edit. Okay, so can you see this star icon? It means my code is now unsaved. What I need to do is I'll simply have to type Command S to save my code. Okay, and now to run my Java code in Eclipse, all I need to do is simply right click, click on Run as Java application. That's it. And here is my output in Eclipse console. And congratulations if you're also following up on. We have successfully run our first Java program, and that's it. So to recap what we have learned so far, every Java program has to be written inside a class. Okay, and this is our class body. So this class body is here. Okay, right. Each class has a name which is Hello World. Okay, and here in our case, this is Hello World. Okay, and inside the class we have this main method, and this main method body is till here. Okay, we also have defined a variable outside the main method. Okay, let me press enter so that it becomes more readable. Yeah, so this is my variable that I have just declared outside the main method but within the class, and we can see it is an integer or a whole number, and we have to use the int keyword, which means we can only store integer values in my variable called a. And yeah, before I wrap up, I would like to mention that Java looks difficult, especially when you don't have an experience. But if you are learning in a structured manner and keep on practicing regularly, you will develop this confidence that Java is so damn easy, and maybe, just maybe, you would start thinking, how I wish I started a little early. Hope you have liked this particular video. Please like it if you found it valuable. This actually helps this video to rank higher as per the algorithm, and consider subscribing for more technical content, and stay tuned and happy learning Java in a well-structured way. Piyush Gupta, your virtual coach, signing off. Bye-bye.